Good evening, everyone. How are we? Are we good? I do hope so. Welcome to Try It Out Tuesday. We are doing some card making this evening. I will, as always, wait for a few people to join in and then we will get started. Okie doke. Make sure I can't hear me because, that's vile. What is it about your own voice? You know, the one that you're used to hearing. I was reading a thing about this. Sorry, just a quick thing. When you're hearing your voice in your whole head, there's an echo. Because your skull is like an echo chamber. Which is why your voice sounds different outside your head than in it. So there you go. A little bit of trivia. Hello, Annie. How are you, my darling? Hello, Linda. Hello, Pearl. Excellent. Lots of people joining. Okay, so tonight, this is a live I have been asked for. So thank you very much to everybody that took my encouragement last week to send me suggestions for live. Several of you did, which is excellent. Those of you that didn't, please still feel free to do so. I really want you to, because I do. Because I want to make sure that the lives are covering the things you want to see covered. Okay, so if you have any ideas, please send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, and we'll get those topics in. Okay, so basically this was the first person, because I thought that was a fair way of doing it. Because all the suggestions I had were different ones. Now, in fairness, if I get a lot of suggestions for the same one, that will probably priority shift. But other than that, I'll just do them in the order I get them. Okay. Shazza! How are you, my duck? Are you feeling better? Okay. So the thing I was asked, and I went, yeah, sure, I can do that, because I was so confident. The thing I was asked was the sort of collage filled colour style of the card I did last week. Can you do that technique with the faces? Okay. And I went, yeah, sure, of course you can. Assuming that I would have some time to practice. Okay. Which I have not. For those of you that don't know, the weekend that has just passed, Sam and I, we do this every year. At the Ragley Hall Estate in Warwickshire, they have what is called the Adventure Bike Rider Festival. And Sam and I, craft a lunch. Sam and I spend the weekend working the bar for a load of bikers. It's the only event we do like this, and it's just so much fun, and we do it because we love it and it's fun, literally for no other reason. And it's awesome. So the time I was like, oh yeah, because I can practice that over the weekend. No, you can't, because you're already booked in for something. But like I say, I only do it once a year, so why would I even think of it? So what we're going to do is we're going to try and succeed, I am confident, in making a card in the really bright, colourful collage style that matches up with last week's card, which I can't show you because I don't have it here. But with the dream stamp. That's going to be my challenge. Now, obviously, this is a much larger stamp than the Dancing Daisy, and colouring it is going to work in a slightly different way, but I don't think it has to work in a massively different way. But we're just going to see. Okay? So, first things first. Very similar to how I did the Dancing Daisy. So I'm going to be using stamps from the Dream Set. Because the beauty of the Dream Set is, if you remember last week, I used some elements off, for example, the Dragonfly stamp as well to add in. But because we've got the journal art elements here with a lot of different things, and obviously we've got our words here, we should be able to work just from the Dream Set. So if you have this bundle, you know, you can just craft along with me or on catch up at another time. Okay, so I've got a panel here. I'm going to use the same size card that I used last week as well. Okay, and I think we're going to go in with the Dream Stamp first, because she's going to take up a lot of that. But I don't know whether to put her to the side or just put her in the middle. and work round her. To be honest, that I haven't decided yet. Like I said, I sort of was a touch overconfident in my abilities, and I was like, yeah, I can do that, because yeah, the overconfidence is, it's gone. It's gone the same place as my knees. It's gone. Right. So we're going to ink up using our Versafine Clear, and I'm going to really sort of go over. I'm using my, excluding the A4, this is the second largest Super Skinny Slim, which is in the second set of 4. Okay, really good for the faces because it gives you a lot of space to flex as well, which is really, really handy. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this in the Versafine Clear Black. Okay, and we're just going to give that a lovely flex. Okay, just go over with our fingers, flex. Make sure we're using all of our pressure points to make sure we get a lovely clean image. And there we have. See, have I used my old Versafine? Well, if I have, I don't know where I've put my other one. It'll be fine. Okay. So that is our dream there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a Sakura Micron. Okay. Because what I'm going to do is add to her hair. Okay. So if you look on the website, we do have Sakura Microns individually and in sets. Let me just get a little scrap bit. Yeah, that's the right kind of thickness. Okay. Card has 2 sides if you're not happy. Do you know something, darling? You might be right. I think I am going to stamp that again. I think you're right. I'm not happy. So I should stamp it again. You're so wise, Shazza. I think I just need a new Versafine Clear, to be fair. This is the newer one, but that does not make it new, does it? Yeah, I can already see. But I'm sure that one's even older. Do you know what? We'll give that a go as well. Nah, that's definitely the older one. Right. So before next week, I need to treat myself to a new one of these. Don't know. But that I hadn't even got ink on. Right, I'm going to do one more pass. Because, you know, I've obviously lost the ability to stamp. And then we'll add to her hair. I need a re-inker, probably. I've never had much success with re-inkers, truth be told. I use them a lot for a lot of other techniques, but I should get a re-inker. You're right, Alison. That's a more environmentally conscious way of doing it as well, I suppose, isn't it? Ah, much better. Much better. See? Right, I'll tell you what I am going to do. Before I do go into drawing some, for want of a better description, more Farrah hair, I'm just going to heat set that because I will undoubtedly make a mess with the black ink that's there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work from here is where her parting is. So I'm going to take it round to there. This one down to here. Down to here. Okay. That one might be covered up in a minute, but we'll see. Okay, then we're going to go in with a few of our journal art element stamps around the edge. Now, like I say, these obviously, I don't quite have the space on here that I had around my Dancing Daisies, but we're just sort of going for the same sort of technique, aren't we? So it's okay. So all Shaz's ideas are coming from Morphine today. Sponsored by Morphine. Lovely. Okay. So I'm going to go in some of these down here. I'm actually going to go in over this hair bit here because I've decided I don't like it. Okay. And then I think we'll take some stars. And again, we can do them going off the page as well as on it. Bear in mind, we don't have to use all of these because there's still going to be space to stamp them in colour if you missed last week's. Okay? So it's not necessarily about covering all the space, it's just getting a few of these in. And I think we need a few of these hearts too. I think we'll go actually, yeah, because that's got some more sort of open ones. And we'll go all the way sort of down there, just on the edge. A few more in there. Another one there. And another one there. And what I'm also going to attempt to do is one there. Okay. It's all about the building. Okay. So again, we're going to take our heat tool. We're just going to go on here. Last week I used my embossing powder, didn't I? So if you would still prefer to do that, you know, just to make sure you've got all of that ink dried up before you start going in with water. So this is just a detail clear. Okay, as we discussed last week. No, this isn't the one we sell on the website, but it's one I had, and I'm not going to chuck away a perfectly good clear embossing powder. Okay, so your detail clear. Okay, so you saw, I feel like I'm saying okay a lot, so I do apologise. You saw I did heat set Dream, okay, before I started stamping the other thing, the other pieces. But if you look, there's still powder sticking to Dream's face there. Don't know if that's picking up. So that's still not completely dry, even though you saw me heat set it, yeah? So that's something to bear in mind. Your Versafine Clay does stay really wet. So one of the best ways to seal it completely, okay, is with some detail clear embossing powder. Because then you know it's dry. Or at least you can't smudge it, which is what I do. Also, the beauty of doing this with a face as well is you get that lovely sort of gloss to the pupils of the eye as well, so you know, it does give you that. Okay, so now you have that little bit of shine. Not a lot. Like I say, we did heat set it first, so it's just a little bit of shine. Okay. Now I've got my palette that we used last week too, which has got some of my sprays in, it's got some eco lines in, and we will continue to use all of those, like I say, with my overconfidence in my technique. Okay, so remember I said the good thing about putting your dilution sprays in here is that, you know, even if they dry out, you can just reactivate them with water. Okay, that is very true. So for example, if we take this orange here, there you go, it is once again, it was Tangerine Dream, and there you go, it is ready to use again. Okay, we can add a little bit more water to our lemon zest. Okay, and that's what we're going to go in with for the hair. Okay, we're going to go in for the hair. We're going to pick up some of that Tangerine Dream. We're going to come in. But we need a little bit more. Down here. Just sort of bringing those two colours in. Loads of water almost. But they really do sort of do all that blending work for you. Now we're going to have a little bit more orange here. It's just going to bleed out into where that water is. A little bit. Basically just keep adding your colour so you're happy with it. And I think with one of the brilliant things about Dream is you really can change your hair. If you, and I mean in terms of, because it's open at the top here, you know, you could add in swirls, you could add in a lot more, so you can make it quite big, or you can just refine it, or you can leave it open. There's lots of different things you can do which make it a really sort of workable stamp. Okay, so I'm just going to heat set that before we start adding colour into the outside. As you saw last week, we can come back, we can add more in. Water will reactivate that ink even when it's on card. Okay. Paint will move. Paint won't move again. The ink will. All right. So I'm going to get a slightly bigger. Where was the brush I had in my hand when we got here? Here we go. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some water around here. Okay. And then we're going to start in with a bit of blue coming in around here. So remember last week when we were just taking the colours and just sort of mixing them. I think we're going to need a bit more green, aren't we? Take a bit more green. And coming in here with the green. But don't forget, you can still use those yellows. We don't stop using them just because we've used them down here in the hair, okay? We're going to use them anyway. And just work around. Oh, I've just dropped a big bit of blue in her hair. Not a disaster by any stretch of the imagination. But I am gonna... Fairness, just making it worse. So we'll just carry on. Okay, we're gonna work around. Like I said, this is not a technique with these stamps I've ever tried before, so I am quite excited to see how it turns out. I am just going to, before that blue gets too dry, get it wetter, and then it'll be easier to colour over after. Just with some more orange. And bring that in. Lovely. Okay, I need to stop stacking my stuff up because I am crafty-lanching all round myself. Okay. So I'm going to turn this round. I'm going to come in here, like I say, because I didn't like that line. So we're just going to paint over it and pretend we didn't even know it was there. In and around these circles here. Right up to that edge. Oh, green. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need some more green. Oh. The thing is, obviously you can put some of your green in there. And then if you want to lighten it, you just take some of your lemon zest and pick it up there. And then put some more blue in it there. It just opens up that palette of colours. Put a bit more. I might need some more lemon zest that I haven't contaminated. Saying that, I don't think it really matters how much lemon zest you put in your palette because you're not going to waste it. You're always going to reactivate it, reuse it. Here we go. Bring that in over here. We're just going to work around these hearts. And then around these circles. Here we go. Now, you see, so I've missed, that is hair. There. So we're going to go in. Just going to bring in that. Around the edge. Okay, and then we're going to heat set. And then I'm going to start bringing in my eco lines to colour in these sections just like we did last week. Because they're really good for adding in the smaller elements, so precision in a more precise sort of a way. Just going to heat from this side just to flatten it out a little bit. Okay, so from here you can see that that's quite a defined line there between those two colours, but I actually really like it. I think it gives it some shape. I really like it, so I am actually going to leave that there, but if you didn't, you could add some more water to it and take more of it out that way. Okay, so I'm actually going to leave, I think I'm going to leave her skin till the end. I am going to go in and do, I'm going to do her eyes green to start, because I can't decide whether they're going to be green or blue. I'm going to do them green to start, because that way I can go over with the green, with the blue, sorry, if I change my mind. So it just, she can just look at me for a little while whilst I think about it, basically. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to take my pink, and that's going to be the heart on her face, and then we're going to do some random sections just like last week. I'm not necessarily over planning at all where these are going. It's just so. And we're going with this beautiful yellow. This is the Ecoline Light Yellow. Okay, we're going to go in, so it's going to be really zesty across. I'm going to stick that in there. I think that'll show up lovely against the blue. Again, don't worry if you get any of those inks on your Ecoline, they will just brush out. Even if they stain the tip, they will just brush out. Okay. What else? I think we'll go for the Ultramarine Violet. Okay. Sort of like a purpley colour. Yeah, it's a little bit darker than I wanted, so I'm not going to do too many, I don't think. And then we are going to need some blues, aren't we? So we're going to go with some blues. And then I think we really need a beautiful citrus green. If I can find one. What's a nice citrusy green? That's probably actually going to be the best one. It's quite vivid. This is just the green. It's not... Oh, that's lovely. Now we're going to make that heart green. That circle, those circles green. Those circles green. And these we're going to go green across there. And then we're just going to fade them out a little. Okay. This is very vivid. Okay, and then I'm going to move those to the side. Now again, this is something we talked about last week. I've got little white gaps all over. Okay, if you're not sure, keen or whatever, what I would do is I would take possibly a lighter version of what is probably your dominant colour. Okay, and then you can always go in and just fill in some of those white gaps if they offend you. Okay, and if they're with a lighter version of your more dominant colour, you're going to, sorry, I'm just deciding to do that heart pink as well. It just takes the edge off without making it too dark. Okay, I'm just going to go in and make some more of these yellow because I think that one's absolutely lovely. Okay, so you can see what we've done with the Ecoline, we've just blended it out just to give that a little bit more shape and dimension on there. Okay, this is going through a wow, that's a lot phase, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. So now we're going to go back to our element stamps because now is the time to stamp them in colour. Okay, I've already got my hearts on here, so we might as well do them first. So I think what we need to do is let's get some prize ribbon. Okay, we're going to stamp up our hearts. I probably in reality should have done a slightly lighter background. It's quite a lot, but you know, can't we all be quite a lot? That's the thing. Okay, and then I'm going to get these slightly further apart circles, and I think we need to see if we can get a pink to layer up the top. I'm now kind of wishing I'd done it in reverse, like I'd done a sort of blue hair, but you know, that can be the next one. So we'll put some pink dots across there and some pink dots across here. Maybe some down there too. Actually, we're going to do some going into her hair here. And into her hair here. And I'm loving that. I'm loving those circles going into the hair. That is working. That's really working. Okay, then I'm going to go for these little lines here. Such a useful stamp, not to be underestimated at all in any way. And for that, let's go with a citrusy green. I think I'm going to go with a twisted citron, as I say. Okay, and we're going to go with this twisted citron. Now I'm loving the stamping into the hair. That's it, you know, got to keep going. Stamp on top of that lovely citrus green sort of sitting on top of these dark colours. Absolutely beautiful. So if you want to do that, you are going to need your oxides for that, for sitting on top. Okay, alright. Now, for one last time, we're going to give that a bit of a heat set. I say one last time, that's not true at all. Because I've still got to do the face colour, haven't I? So. And again, I'm just going to flip her over. Just try and flatten her out just a little bit. Okay, always next week. I can't do the same technique 3 weeks in a row. I'm just hoping I'll get some of the crafting time this week, but it is not looking positive on that score, I have to say. We're very, very busy. Okay, so I'm going to get my blending mat because I want to work up some colours. Alright, so I'm going to go with some antique linen as a base colour for the skin. Okay, and then I'm going to add in some melted chocolate. Where's my little bit of card? No, it's still too grey. So I'm going to need some pink. This is the thing with skin tones. I really just, they're never trying to match anybody. It's just until I get the tone I'm happy with for the project. Because it doesn't really matter. It actually doesn't. Okay. So then I'm going to go in. I'm going to and also we've done that little bit of embossing, so we don't need to be too careful. But we are using an oxide linen, so as a base, so that will sit on top. So you have to be wary of that. And a little bit more of the melted chocolate. Okay. And that's for this section. Under the neck. Let me water that out a little bit. Okay. In fairness, we're just pulling in some of that orange tone. For contouring. A bit more of the melted chocolate right here. I think the green eyes could have been the right choice though, I have to say. Putting a little bit more water along that edge. Not too much. Because this is the thing. Shadows are allowed to actually have quite a stark edge. Because they do. You know. This is where the shadow finishes. See, if I was probably better at makeup, I'd understand how to do this probably better. I don't. I'm rubbish with makeup. If I had her jawline, I'd probably be better. Alas, I do not. Sorry, concentrating. I am still here. Okay. So I think that's enough on the shading. Loving it, though. I have a jawline of 20. I remember I said to one of my children, they're significantly younger than they are now. I said to one of my children once, I was making a joke, and I said something about my 5 chins. And one of my daughters, I won't say which one, said, "No, Mummy, don't be silly, you've only got 3. 3! I mean, she wasn't wrong, but still! Emotional damage. Sam was no help at all. She was absolutely roaring laughing. I don't think that will come as a surprise to anyone either. I mean, think of that in a little journal book as well. I mean, like I said, we're going to put this on a card. I think we can all agree. Right, so I'm going to get quite a dark eco line here. I'm going to use the ultramarine violet along the edges. Okay. And then I'm going to use the magenta inside that. And then we're just going to add some water. Just to bring those colours in. Okay. And I think we need a blue here. For sure. Again, just going to take... I do think, and please bear in mind if you try this or try the one from last week with the Dancing Daisy, I do think projects like this do go through a what the flipping heck phase. Do you know what I mean? You're in it, you're looking at it, and you're like, this is never ever going to be finished or come out the way I want it. Okay? You just have to keep on trucking. It's very similar to my art journaling, which I always say to you, don't I? How do you know when your art journal page is finished? Because I don't finish it until I like it. In fairness, a lot of my art journal pages go through quite a severe I don't like it phase. You know, quite a severe one. And whatever. So I just keep going until I like it. It's really that simple. Okay. It's not easy, but it is simple. Okay. I'm just going to add another... That didn't come out quite as much as I wanted. White light to her eyes. Okay, and then I'm going to go around and add some white highlights to a few of these pieces. Because I think it just adds something. Well, for me it does. I'm not saying you have to. You don't have to at all. On your project, you can do absolutely whatever you like. Do you know why? Because it's yours. No one can tell you you're wrong. Not that I ever would, obviously. Because you can't be wrong. On your thing. I once had a lady, when we used to do a lot of scrapbooking, come to me and said I went to another shop and they told me I'd done it all wrong. And I said to her, does it look how you wanted it to look? And she said, yeah. I said, then it's not wrong, is it? But even that wasn't good advice, to be fair, because a lot of times things don't look how I want them to look, but they're still good. I mean, let's face it, the plans just don't go, do they? I'm not a big one for the plans resembling the completed picture. Here comes the Posca magic. I'm worried you might have overkilled it there, Sammy. Right, but what we'll do is we'll keep adding in a bit of that Posca magic until I've decided enough of the Posca magic. Whatever. What's wrong with me? Not enough Posca magic, obviously. I don't know what I'm going to put. That might be enough. But not quite. I'm going to her hair here. Okay, so we're going to stick this on a card front before I decide on a sentiment or which sentiment to go on it. Watching Bev gives me oodles of confidence I don't normally have, but why don't you normally have it, my darling? That is the question. But I will say this. Thank you to you guys too, because I think we can all agree. If I had been sat here and said, right, I'm going to have a go. If I, for example, you know I said I didn't practice it with these stamps, this technique with these stamps. I've only ever done it with the doodle arts. So I've never practiced these techniques with these stamps. So I think we can all agree that had I decided, oh, I'm going to practice that technique with those stamps, you know, I couldn't have done it. There's no way I could have built this card in less than an hour. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely none whatsoever if I'd have been sat here talking to myself instead of you. So I will say thank you too, because otherwise, like I say, you have that thing where you doubt and you double guess and, oh, I'll start again and whatever. But talking to you guys, there's only so much starting again I can do. So you just have to sort of wing it with what's there. And like I was saying, keep going until you like it. Because it is that simple. I'm just going to tuck in the ends of double-sided tape. I'm going to fold this over. Oh yes, a bit of moonlights for adding extra oomph. That's a good idea, Annie. I'm so glad I thought of it. Okay. Okay, I did that to stick it down flat so that I don't rub any of the ink either off my hands onto it or vice versa. Okay. See, so now it's laid up on its white card. It's like proper, ooh. That's actually quite good. I thought she'd gone mad halfway through. Yeah? Pachow. Okay. So, Sammy's sentiments. Here we go. The handwritten words set. Like I said, I'm just trying to work totally out of the dream set right now. I'm tempted with all of them, actually. Or I could use... No. Do we go with a Just Be You? You can't beat a Just Be You, can you? I'm thinking across the top. Or about there. Oh, about there may be nice. Should we go with a Just Be You? A Just Be You? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's move that to the side. What did I do with my Super Skinny Slim? None of you were watching the Super Skinny Slim, were you? Keep your eye on the ball. Okay, Just Be You. Well, I think next week we should do something inkable-y. You know, inkable-y. So if you have any inkable-y specific questions, do give me a call, a ring, a message. Just Be You. And I'm actually going to cut this one out in shape, if that makes sense. Which words say I love you more? Love you most, I win. I can't remember. It's one of the mixed messages. Is it the first mixed message, Sam? I actually don't know. I will have a little check for you. Oh, I'm going to have to heat set that. I'm already putting fingerprints on it. It might not be the ink, though. It might just be me. Love you most, I win would do really well on that one. Sorry, there's no way I can talk and do that bit. But you see, I just think the wiggly outline's the right thing for that one. I think I'm going to get... I saw it earlier. I saw a marker earlier. Should I put it up the top? No, I think it might be that side actually. Okay, left, right or top? Because I just don't know. Super impressed with the shading, by the way. If I could contour my face like that, I'd do more face on stuff. Honestly, you would see more of this mug if I could do like bronzing contour like that. But I can't. In fairness, I haven't tried to do it with Dilutions ink. Maybe I should just do it like that. I don't think it would work. Could you chop off just... Oh! That would be pretty good, actually. Yeah, I really like that where it is. Yep, I'm going to commit. Going to commit. Tra-la-la-la-la. So, you'll have a few more days to get your entries in for Sally's Crafty Challenge in the group. And remember, she's a ninja. She can hiya ya. Hiya. Okay, so make sure you have a look at that. We are doing some offers on the Bee Crafty website this week. Make sure you keep your eye on the Bee Crafty Facebook page. They will all be available until Monday of next week. Okay. So thank you very much for joining me this evening. You obviously can do that technique with the faces stamp. So if you're going to have a go at that with any of the other ones, I would absolutely love to see it. Okay, so if you're going to have a go with the See Me's, for example, or any of the original faces, that would be absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love her. Honestly, could not be more pleased with the result. There might be a bit more Posca magic, but I think it'll pretty much be staying as it is. Alright then, guys, have a fantastic rest of your week. Bye bye.